Hey everybody, Brian York. We're going to start rebuilding these shocks. If you didn't see the video, you need to go back to my Yorkimoto page and check out the disassembly video. Okay, so now we're in the assembly mode. Here is the shock top that's been repainted. Candy topaz orange. Wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to reinstall my shock machine. And if you noticed, right here on the bottom of this, I've got tape so that the top of the shock top don't get scratched. So we're going to go ahead and throw this back in here real quick. And then we've got, the shocks are all done. We went ahead and buffed everything out. Honda says that these would have came out in a lightly polished, they're not highly polished. If you want to highly polish them, that's okay. But the customer wants to go back with an original finish on this, so we lightly polished these. And then I've got the tops here too. But this will show you where we're at here. I've got all the parts here disassembled, and everything's cleaned and repainted and ready to go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to reassemble this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this shock piece right here, and we're going to take this this bushing that goes on the bottom. It's the thicker one. There's a thicker one, and then here's the thinner one. The thinner one goes on top. See how much thinner that is? Okay, so this one here will slide onto the body just like this. I'll show you here in just a second. All right, there it is. It's right on the body there. See it? Okay. And we took the shocks and had them rechromed. So here they are. The shocks are all rechromed. Now you want this, see how the coil at the top is closer, and then the coil on the bottom is farther apart. You want this coil to go on here like this. If you get looking the other way, it'll work, but it'll look kind of silly. So there's that. Okay, so what we're going to do, take the other bushing, we'll put this on top. And I almost forgot to tell you too, I wear gloves, that way you don't get dirt all over your chrome. And then when you go to put it all together, you can just polish it out real easy. You don't have to get it all dirty. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take this top here, put it back on here like this. And then we're going to take it over here, we're going to move our nuts up here. And the rod in the top of this, you want this rod pulled all the way up. And I'll show you why here in just a minute. That way when you press this down, you put this back in here, you want to try to center it the best you can. Kind of hold on to it. Center it the best you can, and then do small light strokes on these nuts going down, like just a little bit at a time. That way you don't get it too much off kilter. Oh, fell out. That was bad. Well, sometimes that happens. All right, let's try this again. I've been very careful. I've been really mad if I would have scratched. But we're good. I just didn't have it tight enough. Okay, so that's when you need those stays at the bottom to keep it in. Okay, so what we want to do is get this all the way down until this rod is sticking up far enough to where we can get everything on it. See how our rod's sticking down there now? Okay, so our rod's right here. Kind of hard to see, but now I'm going to put our rubber on here, this little rubber V-cone here. Kind of hard to see. That's going to go, and it's going to be pointing down like this. Okay, slide that down in there a little ways. And sometimes they're kind of hard to get in there because I usually try to put those on before, but I forgot. So we'll take a little screwdriver and we'll kind of push it down in there. you want the rubber to go down below the cap. Oops. Now I got to go down too far. I'll get it back up out of there. I need a pair of needle nose. Oh, this video is not going as good as I thought it was going to. So anyway, sometimes you have problems when you do these stupid things. They're kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Okay, there we go. Now we got our rod back up. Now we want to take this nut here, and we want this part here to go down. Okay, like it's going down into that rubber cone. I'll screw it all the way down on there. Now sometimes if you can't get it to, if the threads are boogered, you just got to hold on to it and then screw it down. You may have to push the top of this down a little bit farther too. Okay, we've got this in the all the way down position. And I already put my rubbers, I already put the rubber back in there and then the collar. So that's all done. I already did that beforehand so you wouldn't have to watch. Okay, so we're going to take this here, screw this on here, all the way down to that nut. So now what I'm going to have to do is go down a little bit farther because I don't have enough room for my wrench to fit in there. Okay. So now we'll take this here, put this on here. And we're going to tighten this up real good and tight. This shock assembly is just about finished. Okay, now that's good and tight. Now what I like to do after I do that is I like to try to seat this down in there the best I can before I start pulling the shock up a little bit. That's why you got to make sure it's centered. Okay, now we can go up down and push down on this a little bit, loosen the nuts up a little. Be careful to hold on to the shock because we don't want the shock to fall out like we did a while ago. And once you go up with it a little bit, you'll see that it's coming together. And you'll see it in here. And don't be alarmed if it doesn't go all the way down into that slot. Which it did, so we're good. But now look at that. This shock is done, and it's ready for assembly. I want to thank you all for showing up, and I'm really pleased with the way they came out. Now this piece right here on the shock, you see that it's silver. I went ahead and painted that, masked it off and painted that cloud silver. I forgot to tell you that. That should have been a cloud silver color. But there's the finished results. Thank you all for showing up. Appreciate it.